chilling at Mwalimu Nyerere International Airport, Dar es Salaam, where the three of us have been detained awaiting deportation.
The events of May 18th, 2025 sent shockwaves through East Africa, raising profound questions about the state of democracy and human rights in the region. A prominent Kenyan delegation led by Senior Counsel Martha Karua arrived at Tanzania's Mwalimu Julius Nyerere International Airport only to be met with an unexpected and chilling reception. Instead of the warm East African welcome they anticipated, they were swiftly detained, denied entry, and deported back to Nairobi. The incident involved respected figures like Karua, human rights advocate Lynn Ngugi, and Law Society of Kenya Council member Gloria Kimani. It has exposed the deepened cracks in the region's unity and the fragility of democratic principles. The delegation's mission was simple: to stand in solidarity with Tanzanian opposition leader Tundu Lissu, facing what many perceive as politically motivated charges. The abrupt deportation has sparked outrage and condemnation, highlighting the shrinking space of dissent and the rule of law in Tanzania. The incident has also ignited a fierce debate about East African community's commitment to its founding principles of free movement, cooperation, and good governance. As we delve deeper into this unfolding story, we will examine the context, motivations, and far-reaching implications of this act of what many are calling political intimidation. The silence from Tanzanian authorities regarding the legal basis for the deportation has only amplified concerns. Without a transparent explanation, suspicions of political maneuvering and a crackdown on dissent continue to grow. The incident has cast a long shadow over the upcoming Tanzanian elections, raising serious doubts about their credibility and fairness. This story transcends borders and serves as a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of human rights and democratic values in the region. To understand the gravity of this incident, it is crucial to know the individuals involved and their significance in the regional political landscape. Martha Karua, a seasoned lawyer and politician, is no stranger to challenging injustice. Her unwavering stance against corruption and her fierce advocacy for human rights have earned her admiration and respected both in Kenya and across Africa. Lynn Ngugi, a renowned human rights defender, has dedicated her life in amplifying the voices of the marginalized and holding power to account. Gloria Kimani, a respected member of the Law Society of Kenya, represents the legal fraternity's commitment to upholding the rule of law and safeguarding human rights. Their presence in Tanzania was intended as a show of support for Tundu Lissu, a prominent opposition leader who has faced relentless persecution for his criticism of the Tanzanian government.
Good afternoon. This is Gloria Kimani from the Law Society of Kenya, a council member. We have been detained together with Senior Counsel Martha Karua and Lynn Ngugi, who's a human rights defender. We have been detained here at Julius Nyerere Airport in Dar es Salaam. They did not give us the reasons for detention, and they're deporting us back to Nairobi at the earliest flight at 3 p.m. if I'm not wrong. They're asking us to pay for our flights back to Nairobi, and so that's where we are. Most likely why we are being returned back to our country is because we are international trial observers for the case of Tundu Lissu. We have also done this for the Besigye case, and I think when we came in we had already been flagged, and that is why we are being detained and being deported back to Nairobi.
Lissu, a lawyer by profession, is the chairman of CHADEMA, Tanzania's main opposition party. He narrowly escaped an assassination attempt in 2017, forcing him into exile for several years. His courageous return in 2023 signaled his unwavering determination to fight for democracy in Tanzania despite the risks. The Kenyan delegation's visit to Tanzania was rooted in a deep sense of solidarity with Tundu Lissu and concern for the deteriorating political situation in the country. Lissu is facing treason charges which carry the death penalty if convicted. These charges, stemming from a speech he delivered in April 2025, are widely viewed as an attempt to silence his criticism of the government and prevent him from participating in the upcoming elections. Karua, Ngugi and Kimani, along with other members of the East African Law Society, aimed to attend Lissu's court hearing as observers, ensuring transparency and adherence to due process. Their mission was not only to support Lissu, but also to send a clear message that the international community was watching and will not tolerate the erosion of democratic values in Tanzania.
Chilling at Mwalimu Nyerere International Airport, Dar es Salaam, where the three of us have been detained awaiting deportation. We thought that as citizens of Jumuiya we were free, but not yet uhuru. The great Mwalimu Nyerere, who welcomed all people, the oppressed of Africa. This is not what he must have envisaged, that we can be detained here. The common thread among us, we are guests of East Africa Law Society, and there is fear in this government of our dear Mama Suluhu about people who may be interested in the politically motivated cases against Tundu Lissu. Aluta continua.
Aluta continua.
Their presence was meant to deter any potential attempts to undermine the judicial process and ensure a fair trial for Lissu. They also plan to meet with civil society organizations, human rights defenders, and opposition figures to gain a deeper understanding of the challenges facing Tanzanian democracy. The delegation's arrival at Julius Nyerere International Airport took a sinister turn as they were immediately apprehended by Tanzanian immigration officials. Despite presenting valid travel documents and explaining the purpose of their visit, they were subjected to hours of interrogation and intimidation. Karua's passport was confiscated and held for over an hour, a deliberate act of disrespect and a clear signal of the Tanzanian government's hostility towards the delegation. They were denied access to legal representation or communication with the Kenyan embassy. The Tanzanian authorities offered no explanation for their detention, further fueling suspicions that this was a politically motivated action. The deportation back to Nairobi was swift and unceremonious, highlighting the Tanzanian government's determination to prevent any outside scrutiny of Lissu's case or the country's political climate. These incidents sent shockwaves through the region, raising serious concerns about the shrinking space for dissent and freedom of expression in Tanzania. Tundu Lissu's legal battles are not isolated incidents, but rather symptomatic of a broader pattern of political repression and shrinking democracy space in Tanzania. Since President Samia Suluhu Hassan assumed office in 2021, hopes for greater political openness and respect for human rights have dwindled. Opposition figures and critics of the government have faced increasing harassment, intimidation, and arbitrary arrest. The media has been muzzled, with journalists facing threats, censorship, and even physical attacks for reporting on sensitive issues. The judiciary, once considered a bastion of independence, has come under increasing pressure to toe the government line, raising concerns about fair trials and due process. Lissu's case, with its trumped-up charges and lack of transparency, is a stark illustration of the challenges facing Tanzanian democracy. His persecution is a blatant attempt to silence dissent, suppress opposition, and create a climate of fear in the lead-up to the 2025 elections. Reactions to the deportation of the Kenyan delegation has ignited a firestorm of reaction across East Africa and beyond, exposing deep divisions and raising concerns about the future of regional integration. In Kenya, the incident has sparked outrage and condemnation from across the political spectrum. Opposition leaders, human rights organizations, and civil society groups have denounced the deportation as an affront to regional unity and a violation of international law. They have called on the Kenyan government to take a stronger stance against Tanzania's actions and demand an explanation for the violation of the EAC's free movement protocols. The incident has also strained diplomatic relations between Kenya and Tanzania, with both sides summoning each other's ambassadors for explanations. Within Tanzania, the response has been more muted, with dissenting voices facing the threat of government reprisals. However, Human rights groups and opposition figures have briefly condemned the deportation as a blatant attempt to silence dissent and prevent international scrutiny of the country's human rights record. The incident has exposed the hypocrisy of the Tanzanian government, which has positioned itself as a champion of regional integration while simultaneously undermining the very principles upon which the EAC is built. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Reader Kering Chebet.